Triple E EDC back again with another knife video. This is finally a video I'm doing. It's been a long time in the making. I've been meaning to do it for quite a while, just never got around to it. But this is going to be a video where I compare and rank the Spyderco Manix, Spyderco Shaman, Spyderco Para 3, and Spyderco Paramilitary 2. Now, just so you guys know, these are not the normal base versions of this, and some of them have been customized. So let me point out what is different about these first, and then we'll go ahead and talk about the knives individually. So first of all, this knife is the S90V version with carbon fiber handles, and this is a custom backspacer from Shepherd CC. This is the Kershaw Shaman, Cru-Wear, and Micarta. The base version is S30V and G10. Again, S30V and G10 also on the base version. The base version on this one, this is a Spyderco Para 3, is also S30V and G10. This is the Maximid version with gray G10. And this is the Paramilitary 2. This is the 20CV DLT exclusive version with custom lightning strike carbon fiber scales from Shepherd CC, along with a Lynch clip on here. Now, this knife is has been customized, obviously, so keep that in mind. The base version is going to be that G10 and S30V. Let's go ahead and talk about, a couple of comparisons. So first of all, let me address the two most similar knives here, the Paramilitary 2 and Para 3. So first of all, you guys know, those of you who watch the channel know, I like full-size knives. I'm not a medium knife guy. I'm not a small knife guy. I have them on my channel. I'll review them. I'll give them a fair shake. But my personal preference is full-size knives. So the reason that's important is because I'm going to be talking about two knives with the same design, pretty much the same design. There's a couple differences, but two knives that are very similar, just different sizes. This one is the full-size knife. And the Paramilitary 2 was one of my first introductions to a full-size knife. So there is some bias there, just so you know. So first of all, let me go ahead and say that the ergonomics so there's two hand positions on these knives. There's a forward choil position like this with 3 fingers and sort of the back 2 just hanging on. And then there is the rear position where the choil is not being used, where you're using all 5 fingers to grip. So in the rear position, this knife, the Paramilitary 2, is more comfortable. Hands down, no question. And you can see in the rear position, my fingers are very bunched together on this Para 3. And it just doesn't feel quite as good. However, in the forward position, the Para 3 feels fantastic. I get a full 5-finger grip on this, and it feels great in that choked up position. By the way, I should mention also this is a Lynch clip on the Para 3 as well. This is, in the choked up position here, like I said, you're really only feeling like you've got 3 fingers in control with the back 2 just along for the ride. So you feel like you have a more secure 5-finger grip in both positions on the Para 3, but really the forward position is more comfortable. Let's talk about fidget factor on these. I think the fidget factor on the Para 3 is better, downright better than the Paramilitary 2. Because when you look at the Paramilitary 2, you see when I'm doing the middle finger flick and the thumb, here and going back, whenever I go to do the middle finger flick, I have to move this up in my hand so that it sits in my palm correctly so that I can then move my fingers and do that spider flick, right? But here, I don't need to do that because it's already sitting where it needs to sit every single time, right? I just need to boom, boom. It's sitting right there. All I'm doing is moving it back and forth this way, whereas on this one, I'll put it out, hold the knife, and then I gotta move it back up again, to this position, and then move my hand around. So fidget factor wise, the Para 3 actually has a better fidget factor than the Paramilitary 2. As far as cutting edge, the Paramilitary, as far as the size difference here between the two knives, by the way, the size difference is quite striking, but the cutting edge is interesting, the cutting edge difference, because the real difference in cutting edge here is all belly over here. As you can see, The flat part of this is basically about the same. This just starts to curve up a little slightly bit earlier and come to the point this way. What that means is I think that the Para 3 overall is a better blade design because I feel like you get more cutting edge per inch on the Para 3, or at least it feels that way. I don't know that it actually is that way, but it feels that way, that you get that more cutting edge per inch than the Paramilitary 2. All right, I think those are the main differences you're going to get on the Paramilitary 2 and the Para 3. And the other thing to mention is this is like 151 base price, and this is like 143 base price. So not much difference in price. $8 isn't anything to run home about at this price range. Like an $8 to $10 difference is not going to change anyone's life. So get the one that you want. The Manix. So the Manix, I find this, so that it has this plastic cage here. Now you can get the titanium cage from Flytanium. It's like another $39, but it definitely adds to the price tag of this knife. But the ball bearing cage acts like an axis lock. And so what I really like about this knife, and by the way, one of the modifications on this is a rounded spine, so it'll be more straight like this on a regular Manix. But the Manix, I think, is a much more fidget-friendly knife than both of these. And it's got this the steel ball bearing lock, which acts a lot like an axis lock. It is a little bit stiffer than an axis lock, so don't think that you're gonna easily be able to one-hand this. You know, you can one-hand this, as you see. When I say one hand, I'm sorry, one finger it. Because you can see I'm pulling back with one finger here, and I can disengage it, but it's much stiffer and harder to do. Whereas if I take the Benchmade 940, for example, and use one finger on it, it's really easy, right? So it's a little stiffer, and you're going to want to use both fingers in order to disengage the lock on this one. But it still, I think, is a little bit more fidget-friendly because you get that nice, you know, axis lock feel while still getting the spider flick. You don't have to move it up and around as much as the Paramilitary 2 because the handle is much shorter, as you see. You can see the difference right about there in where the, let me see if I can cover that up the right way. Oh, you guys can see it. I don't need to do that for you. You guys can see it. But you can see that I'm lining them up pivot to pivot so you can really see. But you can see that this is much shorter than that. And that difference or significantly shorter, I should say, that difference is really what allows you to not have to move the knife up and down, which I think is significant. It also feels more hand-filling because it's taller. So if you look here, it's taller in all the right places, in my opinion. You know, if you look at how this fills the hand, you're locked in on the bottom, you're locked in on the top, but there still feels like a decent amount of room up here on the knife. On the Manix, you're locked in. As soon as you close your hand, it's filled your hand. I also think the forward grip on here, although the bottom two fingers are sort of along for the ride again, these forward three fingers are way more secure than even with the Paramilitary 2. I also like the leaf blade shape of the Manix a little bit better than the blade shapes on these Paramilitaries. I think as far as a cutting edge and everything like that, I'm not going to get into measurements, but they all cut roughly the same, in my opinion. They laser through cardboard roughly the same, except I will say I've had a regular Para 3 and a Maximate. The Maximate one just seems, with the factory edge, to eat cardboard way, way better, but the PM2 is also available in Maximate, so just be aware of that. The Manix is available in Maximate in the lightweight version. All right, now we're going to talk about the Shaman. So what makes the Shaman so special? Why did it burst on the scene and sort of take over a little bit? A couple of things. One, it's heavier duty. So those people who are looking at heavy duty knives, you're going to notice that the stock Oops. On this comes to a much beefier tip. So you can really horse on this knife and you're not going to have an issue. Also, the blade is a lot heavier, so the compression lock has a lot better feel to the action. In addition to that, you're getting the benefits of the Manix blade shape. And I know this is more of a native blade shape, so don't skewer me in the comments, guys, but it's much more Manix-like than it is paramilitary-like. And so you're getting sort of the benefits of the Manix blade shape with the compression lock like you have on here and contoured scales on here. The scales on here are contoured G10 normally. These are contoured micarta. And the contouring, like I said, on the back hold on the knife, you're getting really good, hand-filling purchase. But where this really shines is the forward purchase. You get a full 5-finger forward purchase that feels like all 5 fingers are engaged. Extremely secure. Lots of good jimping to keep you in over here, locked in on every possible position. And you also have the added benefit, like I said, of now you have to move the knife up and down a little bit more, like the Paramilitary 2 for fidget flipping. But like I said, that heavier blade just feels a lot better. There's one other benefit, is that you can front flip this, and you can front flip it pretty easily, as you can see. So when it comes to just fidget factor use, hard use, well, the Shaman is just excellent. Let's talk about prices on these. So this is like 143-ish. This is about 151. This is about 124, I think. And this is about 202. And I'm talking about the base versions, not these versions that you see in front of you. So, and the base versions on all of these knives are S30V and G10. So, how would I rank these? Well, for me, the Shaman is going to be the best knife here. I just love the Shaman, and I could go in reverse order and keep you guys suspense and waiting. No. The Shaman is the best knife here, in my opinion. I love this knife, and I do plan to get other iterations of it. I shouldn't say I owned 3 different Shamans at one point. I had the St. Nick's one and the S90V carbon fiber one. I do keep rotating them because the channel, I do eventually plan to reacquire those, possibly eventually, maybe pick up a Cru-Wear one as well. But this, when I say Cru-Wear one, I'm talking about the Knife Joker version with the green and the DLC G10. But this knife is it's an ergonomic masterpiece. It is, it's very fidget friendly in all the right ways. The blade is the right weight for fidgeting. I just love that. One thing to point out though is this nubbin that's over here on the bottom. That's this. A lot of people grind that off. Most people keep it. It is something to just be aware of. You got to get used to flipping it that way. None of these other knives have that problem, but that is a problem on here. Second favorite knife on the table, I think is going to be that Manix. The Manix just has, like I said, the blade shape on it is excellent. It cuts better than the Shaman. So as far as a workhorse, for breaking down boxes and things like that, I mean, if you're breaking down boxes all day, I'd probably say get the Manix, maybe even over the Shaman. The blade goes through things easier, although the Shaman's handle is more comfortable, so take that for what you will. But I also just really love flipping this steel bearing lock. That would be my number 2. Number 3 would actually be the Para 3, and that leaves the Paramilitary 2 as the last one. So why do I like the Para 3 over the Paramilitary 2? Well, some of the reasons that we've already talked about. The fidget factor is just better on here. It's better. Second is, there's a lot of handle on this for not a lot of blade, and I feel like the ease of use of the forward choil on this really makes it so that how it fits in the hand with the forward choil really makes it so that you feel like you're in supreme control of the knife, and You feel like you're not hanging on to a whole bunch of extra handle, and the blade is long enough. It is. It's not my ideal normal blade length, which is something more like this or this. Probably this is more like my normal blade length, but it does its job, and it does it well, and everything about it is pretty much perfect. You really feel the handle, the extra handle on this one. You really do. Back when this was the only kit on the block, or I should say back when these two didn't exist, and this one was the main competition, you really didn't notice it because these are really two different knives. But once you start comparing them across knives in their class, where these are very similar and everything like that, you start to notice how much handle there is for the amount of blade. You also notice how much belly there is on this blade unnecessarily, and I tend to use this portion of the knife way more than this portion of the knife, so I just don't know that I need that extra length on this specific blade. All right, hopefully this was helpful to you guys who want to make purchasing decisions. Again, if you're looking for the best value, it's going to be the Manix, because the Manix is the cheapest knife on the table, and it is also second best on the table. So, and I like it enough that it's not a distant second to the Shaman. It's actually pretty close, I would say. But I do think that these two are leaps and bounds better than these two, and that may be an unpopular opinion. Hopefully some of you agree with me. Let me know in the comments what you guys think, how you guys would rank these. I'm actually curious to see how you guys would rank these, if you would agree with me or you have your own order. But like I said, leave a comment, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you get all my content. Thanks for watching.